Good morning, everyone. Today, I'd like to discuss two of the most important things that have helped me through a lot of stuff in my life. Number one being self-talk, the way you speak to yourself in your own mind. And number two, finding the lessons that need to be learned in every encounter that you have in your life. So as I'm sitting here and I observe myself, I will sit down and I'll observe my own thoughts and my own thinking and my own actions, and I will try to figure out why I act the way I do. And I realize that in those times after conflict, or when things go wrong, or when things go good, I would spend the time and observe the way that I spoke to myself. And when times were going good, I was speaking to myself very well. I was very positive. I was talking about myself better. I was having more confidence in myself. And when things would go wrong, I would notice that my self-talk would be very negative in nature. Berating myself, telling myself I was worthless, I didn't deserve this, or, any number of negative things. So what I started doing was, when things were going wrong, this is just talking about self-talk for now, is I would take the way I would talk to myself, and instead of downgrading myself or berating myself or making fun of myself or any sort of negative thing, I would take it and I would comfort myself. I would literally speak to myself like I would want my best friend to in the time, or a parent, or a significant other, or whoever is in your life that you turn to that gives you guidance in life. I started to become that person for myself. Now, this isn't to say that you don't need friends or outside opinions or other people to talk to during this. You cannot be the only person, talking yourself through crisis. But you are the person who is continuously talking to yourself all day, every day. You are stuck with yourself no matter what. So if you are reliant on somebody else to be the person to talk to you the way that they want, well, what if they're going through something? What if they're not capable of talking to you at the time? What if they're not capable of being emotionally available for you? Then what? What if something happens and they leave your life? You're not able to handle the situation anymore. Now, this isn't looking for a replacement for your best friend, or a spouse, or a significant other, or a therapist, or anything like that. You still need other people in your life. But what it does do is the times when you are alone, the times when it initially happens and you can't reach out to anybody, it'll get you out of that hole quicker. And then when you do talk to somebody, it's more confirmation that you're correct. Because would you ever have a friend in your life that sat there and made fun of you and talked down to you, or made you feel worthless or a piece of crap? Would you allow somebody in your life like that? Then why are you allowing yourself to speak to you in that manner? Okay? So learn to speak to yourself the way you would want a friend to speak to you, or a significant other, or anybody in your life. The people you keep around you that are your best friends and the people you turn to for advice, learn to speak to yourself in that manner. Even if it's just a little better than it was before. Because I know a lot of us think negative about ourselves. Another thing that I learned was that helps me in times of crisis. You go through the initial wave of the emotions and the self-deprecation and, self-sabotage and all of this stuff when things happen to you. But to me, there's a couple things. Number one, were they doing something to intentionally hurt me? Were they being malicious? Number one, that's one of the first things I figure out. Were they doing something to protect themselves, or something that they needed in their life, and then it was just an expectation of yours that changed? Is that what upsets you? Well, if it is, then you need to look at yourself. And you need to change your expectations and not expect others to, be a certain way for you, which is nothing wrong with that. Everybody has expectations. But it's the expectations, the assumptions, and the plans and stories that we create in our own minds are what hurt us, not necessarily the other person's actions. It is our beliefs, our thoughts, our opinions, our own stories that we create with another person, place, thing, objective, goal in life that we think that we want or we need that'll make us happy. That's what actually hurts us. Because we are not aligned with the reality of the situation, because it is not just your reality that you live in. There are many other people in a situation that have their own thoughts, feelings, emotions, and everything like that go into a situation. So if you're not aligned with the situation, you're going to end up being hurt. And it's what it is. And it's not that anybody, potentially was being an asshole to you or was trying to hurt you. Maybe they're just doing what's best for them. Okay, so then when that happens, you have to do what's best for you. And this goes into finding the lesson and becoming the person that you're supposed to become. Because when things go wrong, sometimes there's a lesson. There's always a lesson to be learned. What did I do wrong? What could I do to be better? Who am I supposed to become? Because we're all growing, we're all changing. I know I am. Most of the people that I speak to are in a growth of self-development, self-help, and unwinding the people that we used to be. So there's always a lesson to be learned. There's always something to grow from it. There's always basically a realignment of the path that you were on that may have not been in your highest purpose. We always wonder, why does conflict happen? Why does bad things happen to us? Typically what I have found, is when bad things happen to us, we're out of alignment with our highest purpose. We are trying to bend reality to something that we personally want, something that our mind wants, something that our mind believes that it needs to make us feel good in the situation. Well, your soul doesn't work that way. Your soul doesn't really care what the mind wants. Your soul has a path that it wants to be on, or it doesn't want to be on, it's going to be on that. So it's easier to align with the path that the soul is on. And that's why you have the conflict, and then you have the lessons to be learned. It's like, when you look back to who you were 5 years ago, you're not the same person that you are today 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, say you went through a bunch of conflict. All of that conflict led you to become the person that you are today. Those were the lessons and the blessings that happened to you, or happened for you. They didn't happen to you, they happened for you, for your own growth, for your soul's growth, and for the lessons to be learned. So the quicker you learn the lessons, quicker you see the lessons before it ever happens, and you start to become that person before any conflict happens, the less conflict there is, and the less of a downfall there is. Like if you have your mind way out there in the clouds, that's not even aligned with reality. Like you see this all the time with people. They think one thing, but it's not even close to reality. And then eventually, because you see it, like you watch other people's lives and you can see it. There's people in your personal life that you have seen that just have like this bloated sense of reality in their head. And you're like, man, they're going to get a reality check someday. Like you can see that, okay? And people can see that with you as well. We all live that. We all have this bloated sense of reality. So the quicker you can see that in yourself instead of looking at others, the quicker you will learn the lessons and the less trouble and downfall you will have in your life. Because you are starting to align with your soul's purpose before the conflict ever happens. I hope this helps somebody, and I hope this was informative, and I look forward to doing a lot more of these in the future, because I'm going to align myself more with my soul's purpose, and part of my soul's purpose is doing more videos and helping more people in a manner like this, so I need to align myself more with this. That is a lesson that I've learned. Anyways, have an amazing day, and I will talk to you later.